Oh man, oh man, oh man. It's October and there's a new Quantum Leap on the air. I'm basically at my peak power. If you haven't been following me on Twitter, you do not know what annoying is, and frankly, I feel sorry for you. Anyway, while QL 2022 is finding their footing, I want to take a leap back to 1989 and talk about the classic. And as it is the month of goblins and ghouls, there's no better time to take a deep dive into the moments when Quantum Leap decided to get a little strange.
Sam, there's something hinky going on around here.
A quick refresh. Dr. Sam Beckett is a time traveler who hops from person to person, righting some wrong in their life. His one connection to the future is his friend Al Calavici, who appears to him as a hologram only he can see and hear. This is the show when it's normal. Now, even though it is technically in the sci-fi genre, it is more sci-fi as an aside. While Sam is time traveling into someone's life, once he's there, whatever happens is pretty grounded in reality. What would it be like to be a black man in the 50s South, or a single mom in the 80s, or a chimp, I guess? The world is supposed to be our world, if someone had built a time machine. And what Sam does is based in made-up TV science, so there's supposed to be some illusion that it's all logical. But occasionally, the show did decide to delve into the world of the supernatural, the mythological, and just plain wacky. And frankly, I was living for it. So without further ado, here's the 10 times Quantum Leap got super weird.
This is, it's gonna sound a little weird, I think.
This feels really weird.
Sometimes, weird things to say.
It's kind of weird when you think about it.
This is getting a little weird.
This is getting too weird, Al.
Boy, this is really getting weird. Ziggy says it was just a weird fluke. I've never seen you act so weird.
Kind of weird.
This is weird. This is too weird. This is too weird. That's weird. That was weird. Now this is weird. This is weird. It's weird. It's weird. Well, this is a little weird, Sam. This leap is getting weirder by the minute.
Spoilers if you care, and ranked arbitrarily by weirdness, here's number 10, A Little Miracle / A Single Drop of Rain. I've sort of smooshed these two together because it basically boils down to the same twist, and that's divine intervention. Quantum Leap definitely had a religious slant, and Sam and Al seemed under the belief that God, time, fate, or whatever is leaping Sam around. So this one is a bit less of a stretch for the premise. In A Single Drop of Rain, Sam leaps into a self-proclaimed rainmaker set to swindle a small town out of their money and leave them literally high and dry. Sam is determined to somehow make it rain, and when science fails him, he decides to just ask the big guy directly for help. And I guess God figured he owed him a favor or two, because miraculously, it does in fact rain in the end.
Anybody in this town who doesn't know how to swim, you better learn fast because, folks, I'm gonna make it rain!
The episode is fairly well regarded thanks to some stellar writing and acting, but in all honesty, not that weird. Now, if you want weird, you gotta watch A Little Miracle. A Little Miracle is their first Christmas episode and first episode to guest star Charles Rocket, who plays a rich curmudgeon who needs to learn the true meaning of Christmas. It's a pretty standard holiday plot, but they use the inherent strangeness of the premise to their advantage. Due to something or other with his brainwaves, Charles Rocket, as Michael Blake, is able to see Al. So they proceed to Scrooge him into being a better person via hologram shenanigans. Dean Stockwell has the time of his life dressed up as a ghost and chewing the scenery. As the final sign to change, Blake is led by a star in the sky to the mission he needs to save and the love of his life. As Sam thanks Al for all of the hard work and somehow changing out of his ghost costume with superhuman speed, we find out that the star was the real deal. Merry Christmas indeed!
I didn't put the star up there.
Number 9. It's a Wonderful Leap. Hey, speaking of heavenly peace, what if Sam just straight up met an angel? That's exactly what happens in It's a Wonderful Leap, which, despite the name, isn't actually a Christmas episode. So Sam leaps into a cabbie and immediately squishes a pedestrian under his car, which is not a stellar beginning to his latest adventure. But luckily, it turns out he hit a woman named Angelita who happens to already be dead, because she's an angel sent to help Sam out. Throughout the leap, she intrigues Sam and annoys Al, who, by the way, she can also see, which could bolster the idea that she's actually an angel, or confirm that she's a woman who has some issues, as people with mental illness can also see Al. Liz Torres gives a stellar performance as Angelita, with a boisterous energy but a soft vulnerability. And like much of Quantum Leap, the episode leaves it open until the very end as to whether or not she is what she claims to be. But yes, she is. Angels are canon.
Yeah, they must serve plenty of sweets in heaven.
You're never gonna get there, so you're never gonna know.
What do you mean? Why not?
There's a dress code.
Number 8. Ghost Ship. Canon? Ships? That's a segue, I think. Also, Ghost Ship is about a plane. In an effort to save some money, they created a bottle episode where Sam is stuck in a plane in the middle of the Bermuda Triangle. Not only must he get them out of there alive, but he must do so quickly to save a passenger suffering from appendicitis. As all media does when it features the Bermuda Triangle, a lot of weird things start to happen. Strange music is heard, instruments on the plane start to malfunction, even Al begins to fade in and out. Sam, being more logical than Al, lays out all of the scientific explanations. And all of it checks out, except for the wah-wah ending where Sam's co-pilot tells them a story about being rescued by a ship that supposedly sank 26 years prior. What Sam can't explain is why the episode is named after the twist ending.
Sam, I'm not disappearing.
But you are.
Number 7. Temptation Eyes. While a majority of the supernaturally slanted episodes of Quantum Leap decide to leave things up to interpretation until the reveal at the very end, Temptation Eyes just lets the main guest star be psychic. Most TV around the time just sort of accepted that as a thing you could throw in and not have to explain. Sam leaps into a news reporter and meets Tamlin Matsuda, a psychic who is assisting the police in investigating a serial killer. While she can see many things, she can't see her own death, which is what Sam is there to prevent. Along the way, a romance sparks between them as Tamlin is able to see who Sam really is. This presents a unique episode where someone is fully aware of Sam and cares for him specifically, which made the stakes more personal and tragic. Also, they make love to Foreigner, and it will forever be a top-tier moment in the history of the show. Number 6. The Beast Within. Many episodes of Quantum Leap decided to leave the monster drop until the last second, but The Beast Within in particular seems the most random and pointless. Oh, but they make promises. When Sam leaps in, a boy immediately mistakes him for Bigfoot, and the audience is left thinking, wow, Sam might have leaped into Bigfoot. But no, guess what? It's actually a depressing Vietnam vet episode. And it's not badly written or anything, it's just kind of a downer when you're expecting, Bigfoot. And he gets name dropped once or twice in the background because the kid is kinda into that, but it isn't until the very end it becomes relevant in the slightest. Bigfoot gets their truck off a rock. That's it. Pretty exciting, huh? Apparently, Bigfoot being involved was news to screenwriter John D'Aquino, who submitted a distinctly Bigfoot-free script. So, I don't know why this happened. Number 5. Starlight, Starbright. Aliens. It wasn't until the comics that Sam got to leap into an alien, but he did have a close encounter on the show proper. As a grandfather in the 60s, Sam finds himself the only true believer when he immediately leaps in to see a UFO. The question is, did Sam really see it, or is he mind merging with a leapee? The whole time, Sam is completely Team Alien, which is a turnaround from his previous stance on extraterrestrial life.
Aliens.
Oh boy.
But it is endearing to see Sam's wonder at the whole possibility, to encounter something from another world and make another bold leap forward. And not only are aliens confirmed at the end, but Sam is apparently there to make sure the guy he leaped into gets abducted just because that would be awesome. Eat your heart out, X-Files. Number 4. A Portrait for Troyan. Here's where the list starts getting creepy, folks. A Portrait for Troyan was the first time Quantum Leap showed something explicitly supernatural. Sam leaps into Dr. Timothy Mintz, a parapsychologist who is helping a woman investigate her husband who drowned in the lake. This might seem like an odd one to be that personal for the show's creators, but it is inextricably linked to their lives. Deborah Pratt plays the main guest star, and her husband, Donald Bellisario, is the mirror image for Sam. Pratt's character is named Troyan as a tribute to their daughter, Troyan Bellisario, who has not only become well known in her own right, but also guest starred in a future episode. And not so personally linked, but still noteworthy, is the appearance of Carolyn Seymour as housekeeper Miss Stoltz, before she was later brought on to play one of the evil leapers. This episode is a Gothic-flavored ghost tale. Is Troyan's husband reaching out from beyond the grave, or is there something more sinister at work? This all culminates in the reveal of a murder plot by her brother and the unearthing of several corpses in the lake. And the husband might not have been a ghost, but Miss Stoltz definitely had a secret. Pretty spooky, huh, folks? Number 3. The Curse of Ptah-hotep. This is what I'm talking about! Pretty much every show should have an episode about a mummy. The Curse of Ptah-hotep features all the classics. You got a cool archaeological dig, you got sweet Egyptian stuff, you got a mummy's curse. And this curse is no joke, as it even begins to affect the project and traps Al in the imaging chamber. It was cool to see one of the rare leaps outside of the US, and Sam's enthusiasm for ancient Egypt fit in nicely for someone who built a time machine. He felt right in his element, until people started dying, of course. And this episode has quite the body count, but none more memorable than the very end. All logic flies out the window when the mummy rises from his tomb and kills John Capelos. You can't feel too bad for him though, because he was ready to let everyone else die, so I suppose he deserved to be eaten by a mummy. It is absolutely absurd, and I loved it. Number 2. Blood Moon.
Blood Moon? What the hell is that? Blood Moon?
That's right, everyone. The show has vampires, mummies, and the Holy Ghost. Blood Moon happened during their final season, when they were willing to take more risks. Sometimes the ambition paid off, and sometimes you got Blood Moon. Firmly the result of a rushed production, Sam leaps into a vampire who even Abbott and Costello wouldn't be afraid of. Supposedly, the episode is leaving it vague as to whether or not he's truly a vampire or some sort of oddball performance artist, but the previous episode ended with the absolutely insane shot of Dr. Ruth turning into a vampire in the waiting room, so we kinda knew going in. The whole thing is goofy and completely unsatisfying, even if you're into the idea of Sam leaping into a vampire, but if you want weird and you want to laugh, it kinda sucks in a good way. Number 1! The Boogeyman! Fitting for the season, and definitely one of the weirdest Quantum Leap episodes, The Boogeyman was their Halloween special. This is an episode so scary, it's apparently cursed, causing people's VCRs to mess up and other technical things that are probably the work of a television show from the early 90s. Sam leaps into a horror author in the 60s, and immediately, people start dying around him. Not ideal. Nothing here is really adding up. Sam has all sorts of creepy encounters, from a mysterious goat, to a talking cat, to a wife with telekinesis, to a young Stephen King. The atmosphere is fantastic as the world starts to unravel around Sam, eventually leading him to none other than Al. He's been acting subtly out of character the entire leap, leaving little clues to the audience that he isn't who he claims to be. Because that's not Al, it is in fact the devil.
Yin and yang, good and bad, God, the devil.
You can't tell me that's not awesome. Sam Beckett literally fought the devil on the show. You can see his desperation as everything starts going insane. Literally, the walls are tearing apart. And in the end, it's really unclear what exactly happened. He doesn't actually beat the devil, he just sort of gets away somehow. And this could absolutely be interpreted as a dream, but you can also say that maybe GTFW intervened. I mean, it's possible in the finale that Sam met God, so really, he's got friends in high places. Whatever way you decide to interpret The Boogeyman, it's an amazing Halloween episode and one of the best Quantum Leap had to offer.
But tonight there were no treats. There were no tricks. There was only death.
So that's it. All 10 of the times Quantum Leap got super weird. One of the things I really enjoyed about the show was that it could be anything in any episode. So even though these were wacky concepts, it never felt that crazy for Sam to be there. And regardless of if the episode paid off, it was great that the show was willing to be out there sometimes. You can check out Quantum Leap currently on Peacock alongside the sequel series. Get leaping!
This is, it's gonna sound a little weird, I think.
This feels really weird. Sometimes, weird things to say.
You know, it's kind of weird when you think about it.
This is getting a little weird.
This is getting too weird, Al.
Boy, this is really getting weird. Ziggy says it was just a weird fluke. I've never seen you act so weird.
Kinda weird.
This is weird. This is too weird. This is too weird. That's weird. That was weird. Now this is weird. Now this is weird. It's weird. It's weird. Well, this is a little weird, Sam. This leap is getting weirder by the minute.